Inevitably, the sudden wealth coming out of Otago's goldfields attracted some ne'er-do-wells who preferred to steal rather than labour in the mud and water to earn their own fortunes. One such gang of bushrangers was led by the veteran convict Henry Garrett. He arrived in Dunedin from Victoria at the beginning of 1861 and quickly put together some accomplices. On the 18th of October 1861, the gang set up an ambush in the bush just above James Fulton's homestead Ravenscliff near Woodside at West Taieri. This lay astride the main route across the Taieri, over the Maungatua to the Tuapeka, and the gang knew that diggers were making their way back along this route to Dunedin, carrying their hard-earned gold. One by one, each passing traveller was waylaid at gunpoint, relieved of their cash and gold, and then tied up nearby in a secluded copse of trees. Over the course of the day, their numbers grew until 15 had been ambushed. As darkness fell and it began to rain, one of the men managed to free his hands and quickly untied his fellow victims. Terrified that the gang might still be in the area and possibly likely to shoot them dead, the men stumbled their way down the mountain through the bush to the Fultons. Now that household, locked up tight for the night, found themselves suddenly hosting a bunch of fearful, shivering robbery victims. This was something new in Otago, a shocking change for the tight-knit, law-abiding community of the first pioneers. Even so, it was something that they'd been expecting, as the province was flooded with all sorts of dodgy characters following the gold rush. James Fulton now went to sleep with a loaded revolver by his bed. His brother Robert promptly rode off into Dunedin to alert the authorities, and next morning a posse of mounted troopers arrived at Ravenscliff. Heavily armed, they searched the bush in vain for the bushrangers, but their presence at least restored a sense of security to the West Taieri neighbourhood. Garrett, however, had gotten clean away, sailing for Australia with his ill-gotten gains. But he was later arrested in Sydney after trying to rob a bank there and sent back to Dunedin for trial. Not surprisingly, this was a sensation, the first such crime to reach Otago's courts, and the presence of the notorious highwayman attracted enormous public interest. But cowed by his threats to their future safety, only a few of his victims were prepared to testify against him. As a result, Garrett got a comparatively light sentence, 8 years in Dunedin jail, formerly on the site now occupied by the Dunedin Law Courts. A lifelong criminal, he was never able to go straight, however, and after subsequent crimes he spent the rest of his life in New Zealand jails. There were other highway robberies and other gangs of bushrangers who preyed on Otago's diggers, but being the first, Garrett's gang made the deepest impression. Ever after, the site of the stick-up was known as Garrett's Bush, and children in West Taieri would terrify themselves recalling his crimes.